everyone, and welcome to the International Long Drive Challenge from Cinnamon Hill Golf Course in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Today's event, Team Canada 3 taking on South Africa Team 2. And now here's your host, Ron Yantho, and co-host Rick Benoit. Hello everyone, and welcome to the International Long Drive Challenge, coming to you from Cinnamon Hill Golf Course in Montego Bay, Jamaica. I'm Ron Yantho, joined by my co-host Rick Benoit. And this afternoon we start off with Team Canada 3 against South Africa Team 2. Now, Rick, what can we expect this afternoon?
Well, definitely an exciting matchup here in the International Long Drive process. Let's look at the teams themselves. This is a team event, so you've got 3 open hitters, a senior hitter, and a female competitor on each of the respective squads. Going forward, you've got Team Canada with Jason Davies, who's the Canadian national champion, and he can really bring the ball and hit it long. But the real story here is the South Africans. A triple threat indeed, led by Lucas Forey and his 2 sons, Lumar and Mornes Forey. And how special is that for a dad to have an international competition, represent his country, and have his 2 sons on the team with him? That's something special for the world of long drive here today.
Sounds exciting, so let's head down and get things underway. Okay, let's take a look at the rules and regulations. Each hitter has 3 minutes to hit 6 balls. Now, there'll be 2 hitters in the tee box, a total of 6 minutes maximum. Balls must come to its final resting point inside the grid. Measurements are taken from the furthest point of the ball. Grid is 420 yards long by 45 yards wide. Each hitter will hit the provided, marked, and approved Pinnacle Gold golf ball. Clubs must not exceed 50 inches in length and will be measured in the upright position. Time to get things underway. Rick, what can you tell us about this team event?
Well, these team events in this international process is a really interesting concept. You've got 5 members on a team, 3 open hitters, a female and a senior on each team, and it proves to be an exciting event.
And up on the tee blocks, we're going to have Mike Hurl with Team Canada number 3 and Marnus Furey for Team South Africa 2. What do you know about these guys?
Well, again, you know, both of these hitters are experienced hitters. They're no stranger to the tee box, and they can both hit a long ball. And what makes this team competition so interesting is it's incumbent upon each of the team members to post a score. If one of your team members goes 0 for 6 in that tee box, well, it's going to be very difficult for your team to win in this event, as all of the scores in this event get added together to post a total team score.
Little handshake there for some good luck as Mike Hurl gets ready for his first drive here.
And again, you can see them loosening up in the tee box and you know, the camaraderie at the beginning of the event with the handshake and everything else. That's what long drive's truly all about. So let's see what Mike can do here.
A little concentration for Mike as he gets ready for his first drive here this afternoon.
And not a bad swing for Mikey on his first ball. You know, he opens up his hips, points his shoulders towards his target, and let's see where that ball ends up.
Just a little past 300?
319 yards, and you saw that ball land and roll back into the grid. And the international rules state that if the ball is not obstructed and doesn't hit any obstructions on the way back into the grid, then the score counts as long as it finishes within that grid.
And Mike trying his third drive here as the second one into out of bounds.
Another good swing for Mike there, and opened up his shoulders again. He's really happy with that swing. Let's see what happens.
Not quite as far as the last one. It looks like just a wee bit shorter.
Yeah, 305. You can see the difference in the cut grass there, and it got caught up in that little bit of tall rough on the fringe there and slowed up the ball. But again, we're hitting in a golf course here. This is a regular fairway that we're hitting in that's 45 yards wide.
And the Team South Africa 2 player, Marnus Furey, with his second drive is the first one going out of bounds.
And you can see Marnus, you know, he's really swinging out of his shoes here. He's trying to get everything he can behind his swing in that tee box.
Marnus trying his third drive here.
Another good swing, and you see that little hop there. He's trying to really get behind that ball.
Looks like he got some fairly good distance on that as it's still on the roll.
Good roll in that fairway, and you can see you got a good hop. Finishes up around the 369 mark. Not a bad way to start for your first set of 3.
Looking good for those guys. And for our viewing audience today, something to take into account is the great mental fortitude that some of these athletes must face as they're out there.
And once you get to this stage, Ron, you know, these athletes, they know when they hit a good drive and when they hit a poor drive. They can tell right off the face of the club. So mentally, preparation is everything for this type of event.
Mike Hurl with his fifth drive as his fourth was out of bounds.
Not a bad swing there for Mike, and he's staring it down, so chances are it's in the grid.
Little roll on there right now.
Yeah, a little bit of roll. You can see it checked up again. Again, that could be a little bit of too much spin on the ball or got caught up in a little bit of a wet spot out there. So not bad for Mike, and he's got good consistency going.
As he gets ready for his sixth drive.
And you can see, again, consistent swing from Mike throughout his set here. He gets well behind the ball. Good hop there and a lot of roll going into that fairway, and he crosses over the 310 into the 313 mark.
And Marnus Furry is back. Marnus is back for his fourth hit this time around.
And there's that mental concentration that you can see in his face, staring down that grid.
Straight down.
Good swing, followed right through the ball, and let's see where this one ends up.
362 yards.
Not bad. Not as good as his last posting, a 369, but again, he's consistent, you know. Ball 3 and ball 4, only 7 yards separating those two balls.
And Marnus with his sixth drive here.
And you can see by that swing, he left nothing in the bag on that one, and he's really trying to pepper one out there past that 369 mark.
But a little on the out of bounds side.
OB in his last ball, but you saw the camaraderie between the two hitters at the end of his set. And here we have the replay. You can see Marnus in this replay. He gets a good shoulder turn. Right knee's out just a little bit far, but 369 on his ball there. A great job for Marnus Foray.
International Long Drive Challenge from Cinnamon Hill Golf Course in Montego Bay, Jamaica is where we are this afternoon as Team Canada 3 takes on Team South Africa 2. Todd Harold with Team Canada 3 and Lumar Fourie with Team South Africa 2. What can you tell us about these guys, Rick?
Well, both experienced hitters, no stranger to the tee box. They've, you know, Todd's got 10 plus years in long drive, and we've seen Lumar Fourie before. Lumar Fourie is a returning men's open division international champion, and boy, can these South Africans really bring it to the tee box. You know, we've already got 40 yards separating Team South Africa and Team Canada in this event. So let's see if Todd can close the gap here a little bit with Team Canada and South Africa.
And Todd stepping up to the plate. This will be his second hit, as his first one went out of bounds.
Yeah, he's really got to settle himself down in the tee box. This is where that mental that we spoke about earlier comes into play. And you can see by his swing there, he's not real happy with that at all. Looks like the club may have slipped out of his hand a little bit on his follow through, and as a result, OB on ball number 2.
Todd getting ready for his third hit here this afternoon. Todd's third hit, a little on the humid side this afternoon as well, probably around 28, 29 degrees.
It's really warm, and the humidity again plays a factor on that ball flight. The more humid air that you hit into, it'll knock that ball out of the air and down to the ground in a hurry.
And there goes Todd with his third hit, and looks like another out of bounds.
Yeah, Todd really needs to get his mental game going here. He needs to settle himself down in the tee box. He's a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous. I know he's working with an injury. He's got a brace on one of his legs, but he needs to settle it down.
And Team South Africa back with Lumar Fourie with his second drive. First one out of bounds.
And you can see he really gave it his all there. He swung right through the ball. Great roll down the grid here, and it finishes up just shy of that 370 marker at 369. Great way to start things off in your set of 3. He's got one in at 369, and now he can build from that.
Lumar with a good strong drive there.
Yeah, you can tell from that one that he wasn't really happy when it left the club face, but you know, still not a bad swing, and he followed right through, and there it is. Rolls right into the grid down the right side. Checks up a little bit shorter than his first at 367.
And Todd is back. This is his fifth, as his fourth went out of bounds.
And again, you know, you can see he's not real happy with it. He really needs to pull together his game here. He's thinking too much, and he needs to clear his mind and concentrate on focus on the task at hand, which is hitting that ball.
And with his sixth coming up right now.
And he's staring that one down the grid, and let's see if he can post a score here for his team. Not a bad hop. You can see that rolls down that hill a little bit and rolls right just shy of the 345, 344 on that last drive for Todd, and he posted an all-important score for his team.
And Lumar with his fourth drive here.
He gives it his all in that swing. Big hop, a lot of roll, and it goes just out of bounds down that left-hand side. Caught a bad hop off that hill.
And Lumar going to try right now. This is his sixth drive as his fifth went out of bounds.
And he's giving it his all in that swing there. Left nothing in the bag, trying to increase that lead for South Africa. And you can see again that camaraderie there, but OB on his last ball for number 6 for Lumar Foray. And rolling right into the instant replay on Lumar Foray's longest ball at 369. You can see he sets up well behind the ball, good shoulder turn, and he comes all the way around and right through the golf ball. Great job.
And after 2 rounds here this afternoon, it's Team South Africa having an early lead over Team Canada by 65 yards. And still to come, more action here this afternoon at Cinnamon Hill Golf Course as Team Canada 3 takes on Team South Africa 2.
This portion of the program brought to you by Lanky Rat Creations, original inspired art.
And welcome back to the Cinnamon Hill Golf Course in Montego Bay, Jamaica, where Team Canada 3 takes on South Africa Team 2. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining, hot outside, and Rick, what else do you want to tell us about this humidity out there?
Well, you know what? You can see the leaves rustling in the background there. It's a little bit windy. The wind's picked up since the initial 2 rounds of this event. That's drastically could change the event, and we could see some longer drives, or if they're hitting into that wind, we could see some shorter drives. So the wind and the environment really play a factor on this sport of long drive.
And we've got Jason Davies for Team Canada and Keith Stark for Team South Africa up right now. What do you know about these guys?
Well, you know what? Again, the South Africans are great competitors. Keith, I know, is new to the sport this year in South Africa, and talking to his team captain, Gerhard Coetzee. You know, Jason Davies, can't say enough about him. He came out of the ranks, a newcomer to this sport, and ended up winning the Canadian National Championships this year. So these 2 hitters should bring a lot to the tee box, and hopefully Jason can close the gap here for Team Canada.
Both guys getting ready for their first drive here. Jason up for his first drive here this afternoon.
Great swing there from Jason. You see, really follows through and opens up those hips towards the target. Ball's up in the air. Let's see where that ends up. And you can see it come down. He gets a good kick off that little hill there, and it rolls out just above the 370 marker.
And Jason Davies with his second hit, hoping to beat that 370-yard.
And again, you know, he's right behind the ball again, and he's staring that one down. So chances are it's another good drive here for Jason. Let's have a look and see where this one ends up. Ball comes down just on the line of that 360 marker. Looks like it's going to finish up at about 361. So not quite as long as that 370 for Jason, but a good way to start things off for Team Canada.
And Keith Stark for the South Africa Team 2 with his first drive.
And Keith starts it off with not a bad swing. You can see he checked up just a little bit there. As a result, OB on his first drive.
And his second drive here, hoping to stay in the grid.
And you can see that swing again. He's not quite following all the way through on his backswing there, which is inhibiting him just a little bit. He pushes that ball down the grid, comes in at about 329 on the left side, just 329 on the left side. So again, he's posted a score for his team, and not a bad number, but again, Jason's given Team Canada a fighting chance here. We're ahead of the game in this round of 2. Let's see if Jason can keep the momentum going.
And Jason going up for his 5th as the 4th was out of bounds.
Another great swing from Jason. You can see the consistency in Jason's swing. Every time he sets up behind that ball, he concentrates and swings right through it. And another great drive. 351, not quite as long as that 370, but he's chasing it.
And ball 6 for Jason Davies for the Team Canada 3.
He really went after that one, and you see him eyeing it up down the grid. Don't know whether that one's going to end up inside or not, but he didn't look too happy there. And as a result, OB on his last ball, but he's got a 370 there. Not a bad set at all for Jason there. Let's see if Keith can catch him.
And Keith is on his 5th right now, the 4th going OB.
Not a bad swing. You can see a little bit of a sway in Keith there when he set up behind the ball and he started his swing, and that'll take away from club head speed and distance.
And Keith getting ready for his 6th drive here this afternoon, hoping to beat his 329 yards.
He's got 40, 50 yards to catch up here. He really needs to step on one. Not a bad swing, and you can see him talking to it. He's trying to egg it back into the grid here. And you can see it finishes up out of bounds with his best being 329 of that set. So camaraderie between the 2 hitters again, and Jason pulled ahead on that one, 370 with a 370. And here's the instant replay. We can see in the instant replay a good solid base, good shoulder turn, and he follows right through with his swing.
After round 3, Team Canada closes the gap with only 24 yards separating these teams. Stay with us this afternoon. More to come from the International Long Drive Challenge from Montego Bay, Jamaica.
This portion of the program brought to you by Starks Golf Course. Great family golfing.
International Long Drive Challenge from Montego Bay, Jamaica at Cinnamon Hill Golf Course is where we are this afternoon. Team Canada 3 against South Africa Team 2. This time around, it is the women's up. Alison Stark and Liesl Diffenthal. What do you know about these ladies?
Well, you know, going to Liesl Diffenthal, first of all, she's the women's champion from the International Long Drive Challenge last year in the women's division. But the true story here is Alison Stark, 13 years old, and she's in an international competition. Qualified back in Canada in the national process for Team Canada, and here she is at 13 years old competing in an international long drive event. You really have to take notice that she's cool, calm, and collected. Even though she's really nervous, she looks really good in that tee box, and good for Alison at 13 being in such an international competition.
I think I was still playing with blocks when I was 13, but way to go for Alison. Alison with her 2nd hit here. First one going out of bounds.
And you can see she's 0 for 2 on her first 2 balls, Ron, and she's a little nervous in the tee box, but you know what? At 13 years old, I'd be nervous too. I'm not 13, and I'm nervous when I get in the tee box. So good for Alison. Let's see if she can pull it together here on ball 3.
There we go. Nice drive
right down
on
the
center.
one.
Yeah, look at that. Let's go.
Trying to egg it along, and there it is. Good roll down the middle of the grid, and let's see where it ends up. 242 yards for Alison on that drive. What a great drive for a 13-year-old girl here in this women's competition.
And Liesl Diffenthal right up on the her second one. First one going OB. Liesl with the South Africa Team 2.
And you can see there she's not too happy with that. And you can see in her swing too, she really checked up short on her follow-through. She's 0 for 2 here. And it's really important that you get a ball in the grid in this team competition, as we've said before. Liesl really needs to get a ball in the grid here. Alison's posted a 242 for her country. It's imperative for Liesl to do the same.
And Liesl is going to try to do it this time with her 3rd drive.
And again, you can see the big expression there on her face. She's not really happy with that. Let's see what happens here. Another ball out of bounds for Liesl. So she's really struggling in that tee box, and that's where that mental comes into play here. And you can see Alison, she's concentrating, she's relaxing and getting set.
And this would be Alison's 5th drive, as her 4th was out of bounds.
And again, you know, out of bounds on that number 5 drive. She's got 1 ball left, and let's see if she can better her 242.
And Allison Stark getting ready for her last hit here. A little concentration before she steps up.
Allison's getting ready for her final ball. Let's see if she can better that 242.
Allison Stark, our youngest competitor here in the women's division.
And she's trying to help that one along too, hoping it stays in the grid here. Let's see what happens and where that ball finishes up.
She'll be happy with that one.
She'll be happy at 233. You know, it's still didn't beat her 242, but what a great showing for 13-year-old Allison Stark.
And Liesl Diffenthal up right now with her fourth going out of bounds.
And Liesl's really got to post a score here. It's one ball golf for a reason. She's down to her last ball, the sixth ball of the sixth set. 0 for 5 to this point in time. She really needs to post a score for her country here.
Heavy concentration going in,
and you can see by the expression on her face, she's not happy at all with that. And you can see it just rolling off to the left side of the grid, and that's going to be out of bounds. 0 for 6 for Liesl Diffenthal, which takes South Africa at this point in time out of this competition. Allison Stark really held together there and put Team Canada back on the map. Let's see the replay. Good shoulder turn from her. She comes all the way around and follows right through the golf ball. Good for you, Allison. Congratulations.
Jamaica has so many things for you to see and do while you're here. Many of the athletes took part in some of the activities here as well. Zip lining and going four-wheeling, scuba diving, you name it, it's here, all in Jamaica. And after round 4, thanks to Allison Stark, Team Canada has a commanding lead of 219 yards over Team South Africa. When we come back, it's the seniors on the International Long Drive Challenge from Montego Bay, Jamaica.
This portion of the program brought to you by Joe Sutherland Rentals for all your television production needs.
And welcome back to the beautiful Cinnamon Hill Golf Course in Montego Bay, Jamaica. It's the International Long Drive Challenge, and this time around we are with the seniors, the senior men's, Bram Churchill and Lucas Foray. Should be an interesting match here. Both guys have been golfing and driving for a long time.
Yep, both very experienced golfers. Bram Churchill, an experienced long driver. First time international competition here for Lucas Foray. But, you know, the big story here again is how quickly this competition turned. 219 yards now separate these two teams, and we've gone into the senior division. Lucas Foray really has to come out well ahead of Bram Churchill in order for South Africa to even stand a chance now in this competition, or hope that Bram Churchill goes 0 for 6. Let's see how it plays out.
And starting the seniors off, here's Bram Churchill concentrating, getting ready for his first drive.
You really see in his setup here, it's a strong setup. He's looking for a dead pull here, which is really strong and gives Bram his edge over the other seniors in distance. He tries to dead pull the ball here and does a pretty good job of it most of the time.
Up in the air she goes, and not too happy with that one.
Yeah, not too happy with his first ball there. OB on ball number 1. And again, no matter how long you've been doing this sport or how experienced you are, nerves get to you, and that's really where that mental play comes into this sport, the mental preparation into hitting a golf ball.
And Bram just hit his third right now, his second going into out of bounds, doing a big yell there.
Yeah, and he's egging that one along. He's trying to get that one back into the grid there.
323 yards for Bram.
That puts the pressure on Lucas. You know, he's posted a score for Team Canada. Team Canada's already out in front by 219 yards. That means Lucas would have to perform a drive over 500 yards here for Team South Africa to win.
And Lucas with his first drive here.
And you can see in Lucas's swing, he checks up with that follow through real short and comes off his front foot. Not a bad ball rolling down the grid, and it finishes up just passing the 311 marker there, 310, 311. Not a bad first ball for Lucas, but again, he knows he's got a tall order to fill here.
And Lucas is going to try to fill that tall order on his second drive here. Lucas for the South Africa team too.
And he's egging that one on. He's encouraging it, yelling, "Go ball, go!" And here we are down the middle of the grid. Big hop, and it starts to roll. Is it going to catch that knoll? It does. Catches the knoll and just passes. Another drive right by the first one there at 311. So he's consistent at anyway, Ron.
Bram Churchill with his fourth drive right now. He's trying to beat 323 yards.
And another good swing out of Bram, but, you know, again, he looked down at the ground, so he's not too happy with that drive. And again, you know, long drivers know if they've been doing this for any length of time whatsoever. As soon as that ball leaves the club head face, 9 times out of 10 they know whether that ball is going into the grid or not. And you can see him shaking his head. He's a little bit disappointed with that last swing.
Bram stepping up. This will be his sixth, as the fifth that went into out of bounds as well.
And on his last ball here, another good swing. He caught a little bit of the ground there as he was following through, and you can tell by the reaction on his face he's not happy. And there's that ball. Ends up out of bounds over by our measurement guys, and 323 is his best.
And Lucas with his fifth this afternoon. Lucas fifth as his fourth went out of bounds for Lucas. Lucas hoping to beat his 311 yards.
And again, you know, with his team so far behind in this competition, Lucas knows that he really needs to step on one and get lucky with a really big hop and some nice roll out there to catch Team Canada.
Doesn't look too happy on that one.
Yeah, you can see the disappointment in his face again, and he knows he's pulled that ball to the left.
And Lucas Forey for Team South Africa up with his sixth drive here, hoping to beat Bram Churchill's 323 yards.
And again, off with that back foot, and he's a little bit disappointed again in that swing, and the ball's going to end up out of bounds. But you know, for Lucas Forey, first time in international competition, and he was on his team in South Africa with his two sons, and what a great job. Here's the instant replay of Bram Churchill. He swings through the ball, and you can see that dead pull right across his body and into the grid for 323.
And the final round here at Cinnamon Hill Golf Course at Montego Bay, Jamaica. Team South Africa, some great drives with the help of Lumar Forey with 369 yards. Team Canada, some great drives as well with Jason Davies, 370, and Todd Harold for 344 yards. But not enough for Team South Africa to beat Canada, Rick.
What a great competition between these two teams. And, you know, leading up to the final round, it was all Team South Africa. But then it changed so drastically in the women's division, where Liesl went 0 for 6, and Allison pulled off a 242 for Team Canada. What a great job.
And now it's time for our big hit of the day, which is going out to Jason Davies, Team Canada, 370 yards.
And what a great drive, good stable base, and you can see the solid wide stance. He gets a good shoulder turn and falls all the way through the ball.
And what an exciting finish to this afternoon's game. Team Canada 3 against South Africa Team 2. Rick, it was exciting.
It was an exciting event, and Team Canada pulled it out, you know. Came out in front with Jason Davies with the big blast at 370 yards, but closely followed by Lumar Forey and Marnus Forey from Team South Africa at 369 yards. What an exciting event. Great job by all the competitors here. Congratulations to both teams.
Yes, congratulations to those teams. Now, Rick, for those people who are sitting at home wondering how they can get involved in the sport of long drive, how do they do it?
For those of you watching at home that want to get involved in long drive, go to www.internationallongdrivechallenge.com and look for a local qualifier near you in your selection process for your country. And you might represent your country in an international long drive challenge event in the future.
Well, that'll do it for us here today. On behalf of my co-host, Rick Benoit, I'm Ron Yantho. Remember to hit 'em long and hit 'em straight.